Hey everybody, it's Boardman21 and today we're going to be diving into the Void Knight Erasing Strike build. We will of course be teaming up with Vengeance for both of its damage reduction and its mana gained back on its use so that we can support Erasing Strike as much as possible. Now after just playing the Earthquake build and doing 15 to 20k crits, Erasing Strike feels a little tame, but with 5k crits it seems to be doing pretty well, especially since we can spam it a lot more often and that there's almost a 40% chance for it to echo. Now, the other skills that we'll be running is Abyssal Echoes so that we can get the melee damage increase stacked off that. You should have roughly 100% or more melee damage increase on that. You can run Sigils instead and get the flat void damage. However, I found Sigils to be more of a pain in the butt because you had to constantly be making sure you had 4 of them active and it was pretty mana heavy. On top of that, we are also running Devouring Orb, which gives us 60% increased global damage, and with the Vengeance can also give you another 100% global damage increase. So with all those combined, Erasing Strike can actually hit pretty hard, and we do have it spec'd into doing pretty good hit damage, and its mana cost is relatively high. But with that, let's go ahead and get into the skills. For skills, we're going to be running Erasing Strike, Lunge, Devouring Orb, Abyssal Echoes, and Vengeance. For Erasing Strike, we went with 1 point in Dust to Wind, 2 points in Rift of Destruction, 1 point in Rhythm of the Void for that mana efficiency, and 4 points in Void Formed Blade for that plus 20 base void damage, which really helps with its damage. We also have 5 points in Obliteration for that 100% increased hit damage. That does increase its mana cost by quite a bit. 3 points in Prophet's Onslaught for that 9% increased base crit chance. 2 points in Certain Erasure for the 50% increased critical multiplier, and 2 points in Essence of the End so that when we do crit, which is pretty close to 100% of the time with it, that we'll get a Void Essence which can increase our next attacks, void damage, and melee damage by another 15% each. And then with Lunge, we're using this for initiative. We have 3 points in Tactician, 4 points in Forge On, 1 point in Unstoppable, 1 point in Initiative for that 40% more damage and 40% crit chance, 5 points in Avenger's Charge for that 200% more crit chance, 3 points in Deadly Aim, 1 point in Wound Revolt, and 2 points in Reckless Lunge. For Devouring Orb, we're using this for the global damage increase and for some more armor and protections. So we have 6 points in Void Adept and 6 points in Abyssal Juggernaut for that extra elemental protections. 1 point in Dark Moon, 2 points in Abyssal Rush, 1 point in Cosmic Impact, and 4 points in Sightless Star to keep it cheap. Our cost of Devouring Orb is only 20 mana. For Abyssal Echoes, this one you have to play with a little bit back and forth so that you can get as much melee damage increase as possible while keeping the mana cost down so that you can actually afford to use Erasing Strike, otherwise it's pretty pointless. So with this we didn't do any cooldown with it because we wanted it to take a full 4 seconds before you cast again so that we could keep our mana kind of high. But we do have 1 point in Mental Echoes, 1 point in Final Echo for that mana efficiency, 4 points in Abyssal Infusion for that 28% global melee damage every time that it goes off, 2 points in Echomancer, 1 point in Temporal Echo, 9 points in Distant Echoes, and 1 extra point in Abyssal Cadence. All of that together means that every 4 seconds it'll go off. We'll get 3 of these recast, so you'll get a total of about 80% increased melee damage, which isn't huge. If you were to put some points in the cooldown recovery, and if you liked it that way, you can get closer to 200% melee damage increase. But with us, you're going to get about 80%, and the cost of this is only 19 mana, which isn't horrible. And that 80% melee damage is really going to help with the overall damage of Erasing Strike. With Vengeance, we have 5 points in Rapid Strikes, 1 point in Double Repostle, 5 points in Dark Duels for that 100% increased global damage, 1 point in Zealot's Technique, 2 points in Executioner, and 6 points in Boister. Obviously, you can see that you're going to want to repostle for that extra 100% damage. So Devouring Orb will be on autocast, Abyssal Echoes will be on autocast, Lunge will be on autocast. You'll lunge in, you'll use Vengeance a couple of times, you'll get that increased damage, and then you'll just wipe them out with Erasing Strike. If you start to run low on mana, you just keep using Vengeance instead, and it does do good damage itself. For passives, we're going to have 23 points in the base Sentinel class, 5 points in Overwhelm, 5 points in Juggernaut, 8 points in Relentless, and 5 points in Time and Faith. 5 points in the Forge Guard, all of them in Battle Hardened for increased armor when we get hit. 15 points in the Paladin, which we're no longer running sigils. We did try and run that first, so this 15 points here you can put back into the other classes if you want, but in this one we have it for Defiance for attunement and elemental protection, and 7 points in Valor for increased vitality and some healing effectiveness. And in the Void Knight we have 70 points. We have 10 points in Sorrow and Steel, 5 points in Temporal Corruption, 8 points in Void Blades, 5 points in Patient Doom, 8 points in Ruled Eater, 12 points in Woe, 5 points in Singular Purpose, 2 points in Doom Knight, 5 points in Echoing Strikes, 8 points in Time Legion, 1 point in Avatar of Regret. If you do take those 15 points out of Paladin, I recommend at least 2 of them maximizing your Echo chance. The rest of them, I would put another 5 into... Or actually, I just put all the rest into Dread and take that increase of Void damage. For items, we have our 2x2s. We're going to have 51% increased void damage for 4 seconds when a skill echoes. You want to run 4 of those. I think the max roll is 80%, so you can get up to 320% increased void damage, which is pretty big when a skill echoes. And since you have about a 40% chance to echo, they'll be echoing quite often. Both Vengeance and Erasing Strike can both echo. Same with Abyssal Echoes and Devouring Orb. So you're going to have echoes always going off in the last 4 seconds. For items, the big things you're going to want: set elemental protection and set dodge. We went pretty heavy on dodge. We also went really good with our elemental protections because we have on our chest the same pieces that we have in all of our videos. We have our percent of necrotic and poison damage taken as physical, and with Orion's Eye, all of your void is taken as fire. So high armor and high elemental is all you need for this build to do well, especially since you got some vitality out of the tree. The weapon. In this weapon, we have plus melee void damage and plus melee physical damage. We also had one with plus melee physical damage and with melee damage percent increase, but we didn't really see a difference with that one. With this one, it had higher all attributes, so we went with it because you get a 5% bonus per point of strength and per point of attunement, I believe. Yes, attunement and strength both give 5% damage, so all attributes is actually per 1 point there is 10% damage, so this actually gives 40% increased damage with it. And then we went with elemental protection, which rolled pretty low for us, but that was the max we could get. Alright, with that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some gameplay.